What's up, everyone? It's Neo Reality Entertainment. I'm back again with the new thoughts video, Wrestle Kingdom Night 2, the finale. So, I skipped the pre-show. I wasn't interested in the gauntlet match for the never open-weight six-man tag team title match. And I'll get around to watching New Year Dash sometime this week and get around to making a thoughts video on that, hopefully. But, I wanted to finish up the Wrestle Kingdom finale and focus more on back to gaming and everything and try to reignite my desire to continue doing more thoughts videos, because they've been, as you know, I've been struggling with making them. In fact, I had canceled my planned WWE retrospective of this year in favor of doing the Elite of Wrestling 2010's decade retrospective with me and Noah. So ultimately, let's get right into this. Hiromu Takahashi and Ryu Lee versus Jushin Thunder Liger and whatever, Sato. This is Liger's official final match. It's really the last match he'll do, and probably he'll stick to his retirement instead of, whereas WWE's like, hey, we want to bring these guys back even though they are past their retirement age and they really should probably stop. Even Hulk Hogan is still trying to get one last match. But besides the point, this tag match that we got between Hiromu Takahashi and Ryu Lee, or Dragon Lee as he's also called, they also brought in the Ring of Honor television title on board, since Dragon Lee's the champion in that promotion. And I was a little surprised by that, because I was like, when was the last time New Japan and Ring of Honor actually worked together? Because they haven't really been at it with each other in recent months, ever since really the G1 Supercard went down, and that's the last bit of news I've heard. Like, the one thing I was hearing, that New Japan was kind of pissed at Ring of Honor for what they did with Enzo and Big Cass, and, well, we all know how that worked out. This was an okay tag team match. It was a pretty good way to showcase the farewell of Jushin Thunder Liger. The biggest moment that everyone took away from this, other than his final match, was the fact that Hiromu and Lee were really acting like heels in this match, like shoving referees and attacking Jushin much more aggressively than you would expect. And I was thinking, like, so are they heels or no? Because it really does get confusing when the wrestlers try to end someone's career and then act all sad that their career is over when they beat them. It's just, what? So, yeah, yeah, and I wasn't surprised Jushin Thunder Liger would lose the match, because that's always the card for every veteran. When they reach the retirement portion of their life, they go out either in this big epic match or put over the new guys, and that's what Jushin Thunder Liger did. He put over Hiromu Takahashi and Ryu Lee over, had him get pinned clean in the middle of the ring, and got to say his goodbyes. Like, Hiromu and Lee gave their respects, and Jushin Thunder Liger had his moment in the ring for the final time, and fans were getting emotional, the commentators were getting emotional, and then the retirement ceremony would be on New Year Dash. So, and I was here, and that was pretty good, and there was no big angle planned for it, so finally we get a proper retirement ceremony that doesn't end with disaster. But, yeah, to see Hiromu and Takahashi and really be the guys that ended Jushin Thunder Liger, they really brings them, it really gives them huge momentum, especially more so for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Hiromu. In fact, it came out that Will Ospreay injured his leg or ankle after his match with the previous night. So yeah, I don't know how. I think he wrestled the next night after Wrestle Kingdom, which would amaze me. I would think that would be kind of a stupid idea to do. But yeah, this was a pretty good match, a perfect way to send off Jushin Thunder Liger. His career finally comes to an end after, how long has he wrestled? Like, I'm sorry. I've been trying to keep track of everything. He wrestled since 1984. Let's see if I'm correct on that. That's almost 30 years ago. Uh, wait, that's actually I gotta be wrong about this. Oh man, I am so screwed, aren't I? Like I'm in the middle of a video and I've lost track of the years. I'm old. So, anyways, as I'm trying to finish this calculation and everything, just to be clarifying everything, um, he lasted from 1984 to let's see, 36 years, nearly 4 decades. Nearly 4 decades he wrestled and went all out, and it's like, wow, there's not that many wrestlers anymore that can say they've wrestled 4 decades and still at least put on some consistent performance as their years went by. It, so, yeah. It was a perfect way to end his career. If he lasted for another few years, he could have came back and ended his career after 40 years and still, yeah. And then I heard New Japan World went offline after this. Like, the loss just killed the stream. Like, the stream was dead. Dead. And I was like, oh god, even the site got emotional and crashed the servers. That's gotta be something. So we get to Bullet Club IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship. Al Phantasmo and the Bone Soldier versus I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that tag team's name, but I did select them for the draft when I was doing this draft game with Tim Bell. He would later block me. I still don't know why, and really it's not really a big deal to me. Like, if he wants to block me, fine. So yeah, El Phantasmo and Taiji and yeah, the 3K, oh god, this was a pretty good match. A great way to really kick things into high gear after the emotion we just had. This was a high quality tag team match featuring cruiserweight style wrestling, and then you got El Phantasmo and Bone Soldier just doing the best they could do. Like, they were also going the story. Yeah. Okay. So apparently, one of the storylines they did was El Phantasmo was kind of doing months of kicking people in the area, and then they had cups. They revealed they had protective cups at the end of the match when 3K won the match, and when 3000 won the match and became the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, besides that, yeah, it was a pretty hot, fast pace, very aggressive style match. I loved it. Also, one of the other things is I have not watched El Phantasmo and Taiji go be in Bullet Club. I haven't watched them. Like, I knew they joined the group. Well, a little bit of El Phantasmo on the side, but mostly Bone Soldier. And I was like, El Phantasmo's gimmick looks more like he would be in the Elite than he would be in the Bullet Club, since it fell under Jay White. And it's supposed to be this very despised faction. Bone Soldier, I get. El Phantasmo, yeah. So, moving on from that stellar tag team match to, this revenge story they did. Like, even 3K, were the winners of the junior tag team divisions tournament, I believe. So that's how they go on. And then you get to, and now let's move on to the British Heavyweight Championship between the Submission Specialist, aka the guy who is the stepmaster of bone manipulation, and Zack Sabre Jr. and Sanada versus Sanada. And I had watched their promo. The story behind that is that Zack Sabre Jr. lost his mind. Sanada had defeated him on 2 occasions. Zack Sabre Jr. beat him on 2 occasions. And now this is the game. This is the rubber match, the be-all, end-all. He has earned his shot at the Red Pro British Heavyweight Championship. Can Sanada represent LIJ and bring the title home? Or will Zack Sabre Jr., being the submission specialist and technical wrestling masterpiece, that he is, carry on the torch of British wrestling. So this was, oh god, I like I said, Vince would have ruined Zack Sabre Jr. if he managed to get him from the Cruiserweight Classic tournament, because like I said, Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. were the only reasons the Cruiserweight Classic happened, because Vince wanted to buy them out, thinking that I could buy anyone because I'm Vince McMahon, damn it. And we all know how that failed, and Vince probably looks at Cruiserweight Classic as a complete failure now and doesn't even want to bring it back, or Evolution, because blood money had to be prioritized. But, so, yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. and Sonata, they were killing it with these technical marvels they were performing. Like, roll-ups, counter roll-ups, all the bending and bone manipulation and the submission styles they were giving at each other. Like, man, I could not imagine how anyone can continue, I'm still surprised that Zack Sabre Jr. managed to bend Hiroshi Tanahashi to such an extent, because you gotta remember, Hiroshi has been well documented having very questionable knees at this age, and he's not even in his 50s yet, to make sure to get that right. And yeah, his knees are so fucked up for the most part that a lot of people were worried heading into his match with Jericho, because while he's done so much for wrestling, what's left for him to do other than just put on good matches? And putting over people. But so I was thinking Sanada was actually going to get the win here. Like, this is the rubber match. This is the finale. LIJ looks to be having all the momentum heading out of Wrestle Kingdom. And I really did think Sanada was going to be the one who, beats Zack Sabre Jr. But then we get a shock, and then Sonata almost gets him, but then Zack Sabre Jr. with his master of bone manipulation and technical wrestling marvel got the roll-up on him and a bridging pin and gets the victory and retains his championship. And I'm just like, wow, this is a very awesome technical wrestling match, and I loved every moment of it, but I really did hope Sonata was going to win that match. I'm fine with Zack Sabre Jr. winning, but I was just like, Sonata kind of looks like he was going to win that match. I really did think he was going to win that match. But now it's like, yeah, and I loved how they also, when I was seeing the clips of their old matches together during their previous 4 other bouts, they were playing themes of their old matches, playing off of the old matches and how each person got the victory over the other, and they had to counter one another. And I was like, they did this all within 11 or so minutes, and yet it still was awesome, and people can't even get a 15-minute match looking good on WWE anymore unless you have luck on their side, because Vince likes to restrict. And that's the thing. I'm glad Zack Sabre Jr. didn't sign with WWE, even though the prospect of Daniel Bryan and Zack Sabre Jr. would be a freaking awesome match, and I would be like, the technical wrestling of that match would destroy everything that comes after. Oh, man. And then we get the legendary Juice Robinson taking on Jon Moxley as the U.S. champion. And oh, God. How do I explain this delicately? This is a hardcore match. Like I kept saying, this is turned into a glorified hardcore match without actually saying it's a hardcore match. Like, they used steel chairs, they busted each other's heads open, Jon Moxley's mouth was bleeding, and so, yeah, and I was like, okay, can we just get on to Juice Robinson getting the title and make him Robin 2 belts? Or Rob 2 belts? That could be an interesting gimmick if they went with that. But anyways. But, but then, as this hardcore match was going on, I was thinking, like, okay, they're not really going to go with Jon Moxley winning. Not because it's not impossible, but because, well, it's just not impossible. It's just like, it's like he's with AEW and there's so far no partnership confirmed yet or an agreement in their contracts as far as I know. But then then I was shocked that Jon Moxley with the Death Rider defeats Juice Robinson and gets the victory, retaining his title. And I was like, so what happens now? Like, he has AEW commitments. He signed a contract. But then I looked it up. Like, apparently Jericho and Moxley's contracts with AEW gave them special clearances to wrestle in New Japan so long as it doesn't interfere with their schedule in AEW. And considering their scheduling in AEW is a lot different than the WWE, I think it could work. They're usually around for the big shows or for the G1 Climax especially. But the only big clause is that they can't wrestle on US soil because AEW operates there mostly. But there's also gave people hope of what's going to go down at in the Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jericho match later in the night. But something big happened. The match Moxley wanted the whole time heading into Wrestle Kingdom. They were like, "You ask, you shall receive." For Minoru Suzuki returns and confronts the legendary Death Rider. And they proceed to beat the shit out of each other until Minoru Suzuki drops him. And I was like, oh, we're getting this match, everyone. I was, oh god. This is the match a lot of people have been wanting to see because of the sheer violence that is inevitably going to follow with them. So, the fact that they're now going to follow up with this with a no doubt brutality in it. Like, Jon Moxley really surprised people with his wrestling instead of using the hardcore style he usually is known for, but showing that he's actually a pretty damn good wrestler. Like, he wasn't allowed to show in the WWE because they just said you gotta be the lunatic fringe, so you gotta do hardcore stuff in order to sell because you can't have any other layers to it. Like, what, we're gonna give you three-dimensional character roots? We're the WWE. We don't do that unless you're in NXT. So, yeah. But the fact that, yeah, Minoru Suzuki finally going to have his match with the Death Rider, I'm excited for that. I can't wait for that match to go down. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it is going to happen now, especially after that confrontation. But the match I'm kind of interested to see Moxley perform this year is with the Rainmaker. He's the one man I kind of want to see Moxley fight, and be it on the Death Rider's terms. Like I said this before, just put on a poster, it will sell. Death Rider versus the Rainmaker. Like, you can't, and make it for the U.S. title if you want. I mean, it's never like Okada never challenging for another title besides the world title was a shocker for a lot of people. Like, wait, he has to have challenged for a title that's not the world title. No, he's never challenged for the world title when he lost it. So, like, if you want to count the certificate to get to Wrestle Kingdom's main event to challenge for the world title, then yes. But the fact that, imagine the Rainmaker goes ahead and decides to challenge for the U.S. title. Imagine the boost it would get publicly. Like, it would probably be the second biggest title over the IWGP Championship. Because now you have the Rainmaker, the guy who held the world title for 2 years straight consecutively, and had a number of reigns in between, before and after. That's gotta say something. So, yeah, I would love to see that kind of match. Not only for that, but because it would be a completely different style for Okada to work with. Like, I never recall ever seeing him work a hardcore style match with anyone before, and it would be kind of interesting to see Okada out of his known element to work with a guy like Moxley. It'd be a really kind of interesting matchup for me. It's probably one of my hopeful matches for 2020. Now we get to the Never Openweight Championship between Kenta and Hiroki Goto. And yeah, this was a blood feud. Yeah, this is what it literally was. It was a blood feud between the two. The only difference is that they didn't have hardcore wrestling in it. So, yeah, you got the... And Kenta's story, it's amazing. Like, he's a man out of the country, basically, because when he joined Noah, New Japan fans kind of looked at that like blasphemous. And then when he left Noah, and everyone was thinking, "Oh, he's going to go to New Japan," a lot of Japanese fans, I bet, were hopeful for it. But then he shocked everyone by saying, "I'm going to the West and joining WWE, the place that did not give me, the place I did not get a chance to really shine in." And I gotta be honest, I can't blame Vince for that because it was mostly due to injuries happening so quickly for him. Yeah. And now, when he finally decides to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling instead of going back to Noah, fans didn't really want to gravitate towards him as a face because, well, you can't really work with this. Like, he went to Noah, went to WWE, you basically joined the enemy and another enemy. You traded one villain for another and never went to what people perceive as the WWE of Japan, but better. And these fans are not going to gravitate towards you like they would in Noah or even in WWE if they got to really know you. So, what is the only logical course of action? You gotta turn heel and join Bullet Club because that's the only way this is gonna work, and he did that. And now he's like one of the most hottest stars going on right now in New Japan, and especially what happened later in the night. But we'll get to that. But yeah, Kenta was now the second most despised heel in New Japan, right behind fellow Bullet Club leader Jay White. So, yeah, and after his little betrayal on his friend Shibata, and then Hiroki Goto vowing to avenge him, yeah, this match was deemed to be a personal feud, and then I found out after the match between the two that Hiroki Goto is actually undefeated at Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome. And I was like, really? He's undefeated in the Wrestle Kingdoms. Or in the Tokyo Dome in general. Okay, I gotta admit, that's kind of impressive. Maybe they should start making their own undefeated streak for Wrestle Kingdom. The Undertaker's... The Hiroki Goto... The Undertaker of New Japan, Hiroki Goto. I'm pretty sure they can make bank off that. So this match entirely was a pretty good, solid match. I enjoyed it, and you have the story there. It was very hard hitting. It was very aggressive a lot of times, and yeah. And like I said, there's the clothesline deformity that Hiroki Goto possesses, so he could win that match in seconds. And yeah, Goto overcoming Kenta and defeating him to avenge his fallen friend. Yeah, that was pretty much the way they could go. So it was a pretty good match. He's now the Never Openweight champion once again. And okay, I got a question I've been wanting to ask. Why do they call it the Never Championship? Like the Never 6-man tag team belts or the Never Openweight title? I was like, what is that? Like, why can't you just call it the IWGP and IWGP Open titles? Why does it have to have Never on it? Like, that really bugged me for no reason. For like, multiple times. Like, I was like, okay, why do they call it Never? Why not just say IWGP? Since it is the governing body. So, yeah. And then a series of announcements would occur after this match where, like, that due to the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, which Okada will be taking the torch and putting on to ignite the Olympics, is officially causing the G1 to officially move to October. New Japan also has the New Beginning Sapporo, their events in Tokyo, Osaka, I'm not good at pronouncing these names, Sakura Genesis, Dominion, and so on and so forth. And then we get to the match that actually I heard a lot of people were hating, but I kind of liked it because of how once again Jay White continues to show why he's possibly the best wrestling psychology. Okay, the wrestling psychology. Oh, forget it. Wrestling psychic. Sorry. I keep trying to pronounce it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I just keep mixing it up. Oh god. So, yeah. Kota Ibushi and Jay White was basically the bronze match of the Double Gold Dash. There are no second place winners here besides the main event. And a lot of people kind of are starting to get sour on Jay White, especially with Gato constantly getting involved. Like, I get that. And some people got annoyed with the unprotected chair shots to the head where Jay White throws one at Kota's head, which I understand that part. And then Kota's continued dark side approach. Like, I'm liking every moment of it. One minute he goes he's the happy golden star that we all know, and then he just snaps and gives this dead look in his face and just tries, and it looks like he's trying his damnedest not to kill somebody. And he delivers a knockout punch to Jay White, a knockout elbow, and then just forces him to get back up. And I love Jay White's selling here, like wrestling psychological aspect of the wrestling industry. Like, he's a master of it. And here's the thing that I think why people don't like his style, and this kind of ties into a report that came out on the first night of Wrestle Kingdom. His style is more WWE-esque. And a report came out that not only is WWE interested in getting the Switchblade, but also that some people showed Vince Jay White's matches, not New Japan, not like whole matches of the shows. That would be stupid in Vince's eyes. But he was showing some of Jay White's matches, and a lot of people were like, "This kid's impressive. And, like, he fits the WWE mold." And really, and I said he reminds me a bit of a younger Triple H in some of that aspect, like his selling and everything, and the psychological aspect of his style. But yeah, that's the whole point. Like, I get the feeling Jay White would probably thrive in WWE. His style would be more accepted by fans instead of being in New Japan. But it is kind of like, but I think that's what makes him so hateable, because there's this guy bringing in all this WWE stuff. He's coming in acting like he's from the WWE, bringing all this sports entertainment crap, bringing on our New Japan Pro Wrestling, pure wrestling style of strong style, and British wrestling, technical wrestling, high-flying wrestling, and then you got all these theatrics with WWE stuff being injected into New Japan's veins like it's a poison. And cue the Vince McMahon poison clip if you want to do that. Like, that's what I think makes Jay White so hateable for fans, because he represents what WWE tends to sell to people, well, but not as good. And Jay White represents WWE, even though he's never worked in WWE as far as I recall. And now you got this guy coming in doing all this stuff. I get why some fans have soured on it, saying he doesn't fit the New Japan style. But I think that's the point. He's not supposed to fit the New Japan style. It's more like, hey, this guy acts like he's from the WWE. He does stuff that's like the WWE. And we can't have that. We can't accept that kind of BS. So yeah, I don't think him turning face would be a good idea in the foreseeable future, unless he really changed up his style. So then he defeats Kota Ibushi. Like, okay, so a lot of people were wondering what was the point of this match other than it being a bronze match. But a lot of people did. But the commentators were trying to sell this match by saying that this is a chance to bounce back, and that someone suffers greatly from losing 2 nights in a row. So at least they were trying to build up stakes here. And the match did feel like a New Japan match until like the very end. And ultimately, it was just a pretty good match. It was nothing like their G1 Climax finale match from what I heard, but it was good for what it was. And now Jay White goes moving forward with his next evil plan, leading Bullet Club. What those plans are, we will have no idea until the coming months, but we can't wait to see what he does next. Unless he does sign with WWE, then oh god, that's going to be interesting. Now we get to what many people were considering the biggest matchup in basically in a long time for a lot of people. Hiroshi Tanahashi, the Ace, versus Chris Jericho, the Painmaker. And if Hiroshi wins, he unlocks the Forbidden Door. AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, once and for all, combined into the most powerful alliance since. Okay, I don't know since, but like it would have set the decade straight for a lot of people. And yeah, yeah, this match. I get that with Hiroshi Tanahashi's age and Jericho's age, Hiroshi still being younger a little bit, and Jericho's physique being not as good as it used to be, though that's the problem. That's the case of getting old and having a little bit of the bubble and all that. But this match, for what it was pretty good. But I did love I did love how he brought the AEW World Title, and fans lost it when they saw it. Like, they're acknowledging it. We have a chance, everyone. Go Ace! Like, this is probably the weirdest crowd reaction you could get, because fans that are very traditionalists were always preaching, even on Twitter today, saying they don't like it when the world champ loses because there's no stakes involved and you're just forcing a narrative to play out. And it doesn't work. Cue Seth Rollins and Jinder Mahal's title reigns, and we love to forget that latter. But sadly, it's in the WWE hierarchy and canon. Anyways, but this was probably the one time I recall hearing all the fans saying Jericho needs to lose. I don't care if he's the world champion. He should lose. This is the chance to get the partnership of a lifetime, get New Japan involved with AEW, put aside the dark stuff between them, especially the Elite and the company's execs. But yeah, it's been like crazy what the word was going on when they made this reveal. To hear that if Hiroshi beats Jericho, they could probably do the partnership. It could probably main event Revolution, and it would sell a hell of a lot of money. But yeah. Then the match was they were trying their damnedest to make this match at their age work. It was great for what it was, and it does yeah. I knew Jericho was in, it was reported Jericho was already in Japan, and I get why, because they had to rehearse this match, most likely, because at their age, Jericho can't do the stuff he could do when he was, 10 to 20 years younger, and Hiroshi Tanahashi with his questionable knees in questioned, so it made sense, they should probably rehearse this match as much as possible heading into Wrestle Kingdom. So, yeah. Then we get to this brutal moment where Chris Jericho does the Lion Tamer at the end of the match, and Hiroshi taps out. No one saw that coming. They thought Jericho would either lose or win clean, but making the ace tap? That's a very rare thing in and of itself. And I love that they mentioned WWE, especially the original Double Gold Dash match for many people. The 4-man, 3 matches, 2 titles, 1 undisputed champion. And yes, I'm using the middle finger just for the hell of it. So yeah, this fact that so the fact that this match went the way it did was pretty good, and I was surprised that they decided to have the ace tap out and instead of just get pinned like a lot of times. It's rare for when the ace taps out, especially in the dome, but it was a pretty shocking moment for some people, and I recall some people on Twitter raging at the ending of this match because they were like, no, the forbidden door is closed. And then Jericho commented in the New Japan press conference they do, Jericho admitted that he wanted to lose that match. He wished Tanahashi won, because then the forbidden door would open. A lot of egos would have to talk about this. A lot of egos would have to be put in check because of all the bad blood that's between them. And from what stories and reports are coming out, not confirmed yet, that Gato's all for it, Okada's all for it, Tanahashi's all for it, Jericho's all for it. It's just that the higher ups beyond Gato and some of the elite are still pissed at each other, and that's the biggest problem with it. Like, Tony Khan can barely do a thing about it because, well, the elite kind of run the show backstage in terms of their high positions. Like how many of them are executive vice presidents? Cody, the Young Bucks, 4 people, and Hangman is there. So then we get the announcement that the attendance is 30,063, and combined with the previous night's 40,008, it's a total of 70,071. And I was like, well, at least they're honest with the attendance number, whereas WWE likes to overblow it to look good for stock investors. Like, even people, when WWE announced the over 100,000 seat getting an extra 1,000 people, it's like, yeah, we don't believe that. Even Dave Meltzer was surprised that they said that, because he was like, okay, I get WWE likes to overbloat their attendance records, but what? Even I'm surprised by this. So, yeah. So, we get to the finale of the Double Gold Dash. Okada versus Destino of Tazuri Naito. And holy crap, this was awesome. They cited all the years of story between the two, like they were trying to weave it all together. Like, I'm not saying they planned this whole thing, like they didn't plan 7 years of stuff to build to this moment. Even I have a hard time believing that. But the biggest accident out of it was the fact that they did this story by accident, and when the commentators pointed that out, trying to make it sound like it was a story, it makes everything more organic feeling for me. And it crafted this awesome story of Naito trying to fulfill that dream, trying to tell the people behind the scenes that I can be the guy, I can be the man, I can be the king of pro wrestling in this company, I can take the throne. And now he fights the Golden Boy Okada, and this was a beautiful match for a lot of people, especially me. To see Naito working 7 years to get to this moment, to cleanse the demons of his past, like the IC title, his hatred for that belt, and Okada's superiority in the company, and his huge influence. Like, you have to combine that, and then you got the favoritism with Kota Ibushi to an extent, and the favoritism towards the foreign wrestler heel, Jay White. And that just tells a big story for Naito. He's getting his own Yeselmania moment in the Tokyo Dome in New Japan. And after 36 minutes, Naito fulfills his destino and becomes the first ever IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion of the world, fulfilling the destino, the prophecy that he himself envisioned creating. And then after this, and the fans lost their minds, screaming and cheering for this moment. So Okada is being taken to the back, but then Naito stops them and says, "We should do this again someday." Okada raises his fist in the air, basically proclaiming himself as a lost ungovernable. Ungovernable, let's go with that, since that's what it translates to. And Naito even busted out a shooting star Stardust press, but that didn't get him win, so yeah, so that was a miracle. And then Naito gives this speech talking about how he's finally fulfilled the dream, and thanking all the fans for watching, and finally seeing him flip the script, turn the page, and we'll take these belts into the future. And then as he's saying the names of the group and about to end the show, then oh boy, the newly minted most hated man in Japan comes and destroys the ceremony. Hideo Itami Kenta comes in, beats the holy out of Naito, sits on the ground and like raises both titles in the air, stating his intention to take the titles from Naito. Then Rush has to come in, save the day. Kenta disappears and just like, boo, boo. Like, he is now the most hated man in New Japan now. Like, Jay White probably feels threatened now after this. Like, Jay White, he could get fans to leave the arena when he defeated a hero. But now you have Kenta, who fans now just want to go through the railings and just strangle him. Like, I would not want to be Kenta right now if I go outside in public. For those who take it way too seriously. But a lot of people were kind of mad about this ending. Like, they thought, why couldn't this be New Year Dash? Like, even the commenters were pissed at this for how they were acting. And I was just shocked that they went that route. Like, they're really going to end the show with an explosive moment like that. Naito fulfills his destino, and Kenta comes in and spoils the celebration. Oh, that's got to say something. Like, sitting on Naito's chest and making the moment all about him. It's a moment that will forever be ingrained, and now Kenta is now the most hated man in Japan, probably in professional wrestling, and probably the most hated heel right now. Like, wow, that was an explosive way to to kickstart the 2020s for professional wrestling as a whole with the 2-night Wrestle Kingdom event. And it delivered. I give this an S. In tradition of the video games and anime stuff that go ahead and do an S grade instead of an A+. Because reasons. That I will never get. So, yeah. Wrestle Kingdom 14 is officially in the books. We kickstart this decade. The story between AEW and New Japan is not yet over, since the commentators acknowledged AEW, acknowledged the Elite to an extent, acknowledged the belt's presence. So it's like, this is a slow, gradual process, most likely, to help improve relations between the two companies. They just need to lock the Elite and the major executives in power of New Japan in a room to work out their issues. That's probably the best solution. But I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of fighting with all the employees trying to get them in a room, discuss all their issues, work it all out, and come to some agreement, because the fans want it, Tanahashi wants it, Okada wants it, Gato wants it, Jericho wants it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people want it. So, Wrestling 2020 is now kickstarting to high gear. Let's see how all the other companies follow suit. AEW, New Japan, and as they continue riding this momentum, that you got WWE having to follow suit, and you got NXT, you got Impact Wrestling. Like, they're going to probably have the first ever women world champion in their company soon with Tessa Blanchard, so they got their own big ace in the hole. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty exciting moment for wrestling this year, and probably for this whole decade. So this was my thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom 14 Night 2 of New Japan Pro Wrestling. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. For video, like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more, and peace out. Sweet.